Hello, and welcome to our mini lesson on using generative AI tools in the classroom for teachers and students. First, I'd like to review our learning targets. We are going to talk about two things, starting with teacher AI usage. We're going to talk about some recommended ways to use AI in the classroom, as well as some tools that you can use. And then we're also going to talk about tools for student usage, as well as how we can teach students how to ethically use AI in the classroom. I'd like to start by reviewing this video with some generalized ways that other teachers use AI in the classroom.
What I use AI for is maybe like color templates, making sure my PowerPoint presentations look pretty.
I've used it to help me answer difficult emails to parents.
I've also used it to make exercises as well. Sometimes your brain is just tired and you just need it a little bit of support.
One of the main things that I'm planning to use it for this year as a world language teacher is for students to practice conversations in a way that they're not nervous about it being their classmate or somebody who's going to judge them.
I put in every assignment as the prompt into ChatGPT to see what ChatGPT will give my prompt back, so I know what to expect for students who are utilizing AI maliciously.
When we are doing our learning targets, sometimes it's hard for me to come up with a kid-friendly version. So I use ChatGPT and I write in the standard, and it kind of breaks it down so it's easier for my students to understand.
One of the things that I did was used AI to make presentations, not so much presentation, but speeches.
So currently I use artificial intelligence to look at data, to pinpoint exactly which kids need the help the most and how I can be most effective in helping them. Using AI to help me look through thousands of rows of student data really helps expedite the process.
I've used AI in the classroom to create scavenger hunts. You can also do escape rooms using AI. I wrote a book using AI. Yes, a math book with AI. I've also wrote nonsense workbooks for my kids to use inside of the classroom to help them.
I use AI all the time. I use it to draft letters, emails. I use it to create PD. I've done that myself, topics and how to expand on those topics. So I'm really looking forward to where AI is going to take us.
All right, I hope that gave you some generalized ways to use AI, but now we're going to get a little bit more specific. So we're going to talk about how to specifically use AI in a math classroom, and I've come up with 4 of what I believe are the top ways to use it in this way. Starting with differentiating assignments. So you can differentiate in lots of different ways, and AI is a great tool to help you with those ideas. Next is just lesson planning. I feel like this is probably one of the top ways that AI gets used by teachers. Next, we have evaluating assessment data. So what you can do is take student assessments, put it into the platform, and it will give you whatever kind of data you request. Finally, we have generating student feedback. So similar to the assessment data, you would put in the assessment or whatever assignment that you're looking for feedback, put it into the platform, and it will give you feedback. I would recommend putting in some kind of criteria or a rubric also if you're going to do this, so it knows exactly what kind of feedback you're looking for. So what tools would we use to do this? Starting off very generally would be ChatGPT, and I'm just going to show you what this looks like. So this would be the home page. This one is just a blank chat box. So you can type anything into here. You can add files by using this plus button. And really the world is your oyster with this one. Secondly, and a little bit more specific, is Magic School AI. So this one is specifically for teachers. When you log in here, you can see we have a teaching box and we have a student box. We are going to come back to this student box, but just to begin with teaching, if you hit Discover All Tools, you can see we have 80 plus tools to use here. And there are so many that you can scroll through. So that's why this search bar is really helpful. So if you want to do lesson planning, you can type that in, and there is a prompt specifically for that. If you want to type in differentiation, you can see that there are multiple ways that it will give you options for that. So this is just a really amazing tool specifically for teachers because there are so many specific resources here. Now, one thing I would like to say is you are the expert, not the AI. So AI should not be replacing your judgment. You should not be implementing any of these things without reviewing it first. All right, moving on to students. So I wanted to start out with just some ways that we can use technology for students to communicate their math reasoning rather than just putting an answer on a worksheet. So first we have an audio reflection. This would just be a student recording their voice on how they completed an assignment or why they chose a certain strategy. Very similar to that, we have a video explanation. So this could also be them telling you all those things that we just talked about with the audio, or it could also be them recording themselves actually solving a problem. So you can see their thought process and how they work through that. Next, we have a digital presentation. I like to think of this as a way for a student to explain to another student how they chose to solve a problem, or maybe there's an area of mastery for a certain student and you want them to create a presentation to show other students. Finally, we have an infographic. This could be a step-by-step guide that a student makes for other students on how to go about solving certain things. So all of these will give us the reasoning that students have to solve problems rather than just us seeing their answer. So what tools do we have available for students? When it comes to making all these presentations and ways for students to show their reasoning, I love Canva. It is super straightforward. It is free. Most school districts have it, the education version, which gives a lot more options, but they have so many options for students to present their thinking. They have amazing templates on here already, which is great for accessibility and for differentiation. So Canva is a wonderful tool to use in the classroom. And then now let's go back and review the Magic School option for students. So they don't have quite as many tools for students, but there are some really great options here. I think one that I would mostly recommend is this custom chat box. This is where you as the teacher can set up a chat box for students. You can tell it things to not tell the students. You can customize it by grade level. There's so many different ways that you can customize this to make it to where the chat is not telling students things that you don't want them to know, if that makes sense. But then there are lots of other great student tools specifically for math. Math review, I know there's a step-by-step on here as well, so Magic School is going to be a really amazing tool for your students. Now, I did want to talk about how we can teach students how to use these tools ethically and not just kind of run rampant with them. So first thing is obviously in-class modeling. This comes naturally to us as teachers. So showing them how you would use the tool, showing them how to use it in general. Giving them a checklist of ways that is acceptable to use AI versus unacceptable. Make it very black and white and obvious to them. If your students are using AI, you can have them tell you the prompt that they use. They can give you a link to the chat that they use so that you can review that. Let them know that there's going to be some kind of citation for them using this AI. Make it very obvious to your students that AI is a tutor and not an answer key. AI can be used to give your students steps. They can create an image if your students tell them what to create. So your student is the brain, the AI is just the tool for their brain. These are just some of the really basic ideas. If you want to get more in depth with this, if you want to see some more lesson plans, some videos that you can show your students, a great resource is Common Sense Education. They are a digital citizenship website for education. So there are lots of great things on there that you could show your students. So that is all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.